The 2023 Chicago Bears 53-man roster is here. Some shocking moves were made, especially guys like Trevis Gibson, Travis Bell, and more. And the team that Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, and squad chose are going to be exciting, and I am here to break it down. Hello, welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody. We are one step closer to football. Today, over 1,100 players in the NFL were cut from their respective rosters. Best of luck to all those guys. I'm sure it was a very anxious day for everybody, but hopefully they'll find new homes, but everyone's 53-man roster is set at the moment. We are 9 days away from NFL football next Thursday night, and the Bears are 12 days away from taking on the Green Bay Packers at home at Soldier Field for Week 1. So I'm here to break down who's taking the field for the Chicago Bears, followed by who was cut on this roster. Let's start with the defensive backs, as there were 8 total. Josh Blackwell, Jaquan Brisker, Eddie Jackson, Kyler Gordon, Elijah Hicks, Jaylon Johnson, Jaylon Jones, and Terrell Smith were the 8 that were selected for the DB room. 3 rookies, 4 second-year guys, 2 veterans on this team. These guys are a bunch of ball hawks. Starters are likely going to be Jaylon Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Eddie Jackson, and Jaquan Brisker when they go into a 4-3-4 defense, and then throw in Tyreek Stevenson when they go to a 4-2-5 defense. Big, fast defensive backs that are going to, arguably our starters could all be Pro Bowlers. Great depth on this team too. A lot of studs, a lot of people to be excited about. Also want to give a shout out to our guy, Josh Blackwell, for making the roster. He is a special teams absolute mastermind, great teammate, and great guy for the community. Happy to have him back, and we'll have him on again soon. Let's go to the defensive line, as 9 total were selected by the Chicago Bears front office and coaches. Andrew Billings, Justin Jones, Gervon Dexter Sr, Zacch Pickens, Yannick Ngakoue, DeMarcus Walker, Rasheem Green, Terrell Lewis, and Dominque Robinson were the 9 selected. This group is going to be nasty. Also big, fast, and athletic. They're going to shock the world thanks to veterans like Yannick, DeMarcus Walker, and Terrell Lewis. Terrell Lewis isn't really a veteran, but he reminds me a lot of Khalil Mack. Call me crazy, but the guy can absolutely get into the backfield, cause a lot of havoc. Very excited for him. On top of that, the other veterans and young guys are going to make a lot of noise are Andrew Billings, Justin Jones, Gervon Dexter Sr, and Zacch Pickens. Excited to see what Rasheem Green and Dominque Robinson do, as they're the big, athletic, long defensive edges that are going to be good against the run. This group, again, is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going 50-plus sacks on the season. For fullback, we took one at Khari Blasingame. Excited to see him back, as he did sign an extension with this team. Hopefully that the Chicago Bears utilize him a ton, and he'll probably be in a lot for pass blocking when Khalil Herbert's back there. Going to the linebacker room, the room that shocked me the most is we only took 5 guys considering how many Ryan Poles was picking up off waiver wire. Treamine Edmunds, Jack Sanborn, TJ Edwards, Noah Sewell, and Dylan Cole made the roster. I'm not going to lie, was a little shocked by Dylan Cole, as he's been very quiet during this preseason in camp, but coaches saw something out of him that we didn't. He didn't play in any of the preseason games, so I was kind of shocked by that too. But the savvy veteran from the Titans stayed on the roster, and excited to see what he does. On top of that, overall, this group is one of the best, if not the best, pass coverage up the middle linebacker cores. On top of that, we're going to be able to stop the run 1,000 times better than last year, thanks to these guys. Very excited for what this team is going to do at the linebacker position, because the monsters of the Midway are back. Long snapper, we got Patrick Scales, who is absolutely the GOAT. Offensive lineman, we have 10 on the roster, which is a very respectful number that I'm excited about. Larry Borom, Tree Carter, Nate Davis, Cody Whitehair, Teven Jenkins, Darnell Wright, Lucas Patrick, Braxton Jones, Doug Kramer, Dan Feeney, who's new to this roster, are all a part of the Chicago Bears. For how banged up the offensive line gets, I was very happy with how many offensive linemen we took, considering it's 1/5 of the roster. Everyone but Jenkins is confirmed by Matt Eberflus that they're good to go. Teven Jenkins is still a big maybe for opening day, but don't be surprised if he's out. This group has shown that they can protect Justin Fields, and they are going to be the what-if factor, or the make it or break it factor of this team if they're able to pull it together. Also, Dan Feeney, who is an Orland Park guy, I am super excited about that we traded for today. Technically last night, but I was sleeping, so I'm calling it today. Big, quick guy with a super high athletic score of 8.13. He can play center and guard, and I'm excited to welcome to the Chicago Bears. Great mustache as well. Punter, Trenton Gill, absolute GOAT. Welcome back. For quarterbacks, the Bears only took 2. Justin Fields and Tyler Bagent. We all thought Chicago was going to take 3 quarterbacks, and they ended up going with 2, likely meaning that they're going to have a practice squad quarterback. First of all, shout out Tyson Bagent. Against all odds, he made the NFL roster, going to a D2 school, undrafted rookie free agent, fought himself onto this roster, improved it, and that's great clarity for Justin Fields and Chicago Bears fans. I am very excited about this room, and Fields is going to have a career year, a Jalen Hurts type 3rd season. I am super excited for Justin Fields, especially with what he has to work with. I'll go on there in a second. But man, something to be excited about, that the Bears actually have 2 good quarterbacks on the roster. Going to the running back room, another shock is that the Bears took 4 running backs. Khalil Hebert, Roschon Johnson, D'Onta Foreman, and Travis Homer made the roster. A lot of people were shocked, including myself, about Homer making the roster, considering we all thought the Bears were going with 3 running backs. He is a special teams guru that can catch punt returns, which is huge for the Chicago Bears, and I am very excited to see what he does for this roster. Might even see him be our official punt returner. Stay tuned for that. With tight ends, we took 3 total. Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan, and Marcedes Lewis. I love this group because Kmet can do it all. Robert Tonyan plays like he's a wide receiver in a tight end body. And Marcedes Lewis has arguably been one of the best run blocking tight ends in the NFL over the last 2 decades. And finally, the wide receiver room. The Bears went with 6 total, going with DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney, Tyler Scott, Equanimeous St. Brown, and Velus Jones Jr. V12 and ESB definitely were on the brink of making this roster, in my opinion. There was a good amount of wide receivers that the Bears were going to take. Potentially, Fountain had a huge preseason. There's guys that are going to go on waiver wire, but the Bears went with this group. I'm happy they went with this group. And also, if Pettis would have stayed, might have even shooken it up even more. But ESB is a fantastic big body blocking wide receiver that can also be a red zone threat. And if Chase Claypool's out, we need a guy that's above 6'3" to be out there. Overall, this group is going to make or break the season, as well as they need to make sure that they get open for Justin Fields. It's kind of a 1-2 punch with the offensive line, the receivers, but overall, super excited about this group. Unfortunately, let's go to the cuts. Wishing these guys the best of luck, because once a Bear, always a Bear. Quarterback PJ Walker, Alex Leatherwood, offensive lineman Gabe Hoy, wishing him a speedy recovery. Defensive lineman Ravian Roy, offensive lineman Kellen Deesh, offensive lineman Logan Stenberg, offensive lineman Bobby Hoskins, defensive tackle Andrew Jones, defensive back Michael Odemudia, linebacker Davian Taylor, wide receiver Doris Fountain, tight end Lacton Pitts, defensive lineman DeAnthony Jones, wide receiver Nasimba Webster, linebacker Barrington Wade, running back Treston Ebner, offensive lineman Avington Collins, defensive back Kendall Vildor, see you later, buddy, linebacker DeMarcus Gates, tight end Stephen Carlson, safety Bralin Trahan. A lot of people were shocked by that one. Fullback Robert Burns, defensive tackle Travis Bell. Oh my gosh, please stay on the practice squad, but a lot of teams are already interested in him. Quarterback Nathan Peterman, likely to come to the practice squad. Safety Kendall Williamson, 7th round pick from this past year. Defensive lineman Roy Mbitika, who was a part of the international program with the NFL. Hopefully he finds a home. Defensive lineman Travis Gibson, he did not request to get traded. Actually, he came out and said that on Twitter, but also at the same time, the Bears were looking to actively get rid of him. He did not find a team. He was released. Linebacker Michael Walker, offensive lineman Josh Lugg, defensive lineman Jalen Harris, linebacker Micah Bakersfield, and defensive back Mackin Clark. A lot of names for you guys there. That is all the roster updates. That is your 53-man Bears roster. Practice squad, I'll make another video for once we officially have that. But the Chicago Bears play in 12 days. This is what we got, and this team is going to bring a lot of noise to the Chicago Bears, and we're excited about it. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, and as always, bear down.